What's up, everybody? LSUODYSSEY.com live. LSU Odyssey live pre-game here. The final game of the season. LSU, Oklahoma at Tiger Stadium. And how invested will the fans be for this game? How into this game will the fans be? How loud will Tiger Stadium be tonight? Will we hear 100,000 strong, really giving it everything they got as fans? I think it depends on how much we see from this team. If this team start letting things get to them early, if this team starts to fade, if we literally let Oklahoma dictate terms to us, they push us around in the trenches, it could be easy to get this crowd out of this game, and that's exactly what this team cannot have. This team cannot have an apathetic crowd, an apathetic vibe. This team needs energy. This team needs just intensity, and it needs a crowd behind them. They need to get this crowd going. Big plays, chunk plays on offense, big hits, negative plays on defense. Special teams, just prevent the errors. Just simply prevent errors. Like make field goals, PATs, but also just no screw ups on the holding, no screw ups on blocked punts, blocked field goals, stuff we have seen in years past from LSU. Even though the special teams has improved overall with Slade Roy, Peyton Todd at times, Damian Ramos, and then especially Aaron Burrell booting it, Mr. Touchback. It seemed like LSU were really heading in the fantastic direction special teams wise, and we still are, and maybe it'll take a bit with some consistency. Finally, have the same special teams coach for multiple seasons for the Kelly era, with Slade Nagel hopefully returning next year. But you're probably going to be losing Slade Roy, right? I think so. You're going to be losing some people there. So LSU really got to figure this out. It seems like they do have a plan for the future at long snapper, another Buford, Georgia dude. But still, Slade Roy's been so consistent for so long. This season has just been one of those seasons where some of the veterans who've been our strongest have even looked had their moments of weakness. Will Campbell with a lot of flags. So that's why I feel like Mason Taylor, even though he hasn't had any moments of weakness, he just hasn't really gotten the ball or chances to shine. So I just, this is a game where I want to see LSU go out this season, at least for the regular season, giving this everything they've got. I want to see an intense, fiery crowd. I want to see this Tiger Stadium rocking from the rafters, and I want to see intensity from this crowd, willing this team on. And this is Oklahoma. LSU have owned Oklahoma for so long. Jamer knows. What's up, Jamer? I know Jamer knows. Jamer, what's up? How you doing? Drink to you. Thanks for watching, as always. You have firsthand knowledge that LSU pummels Oklahoma, that LSU owns Oklahoma, that LSU has a history of absolutely just bitching Oklahoma around. Like they're our little bitch, and LSU cannot. I repeat, just like Vanderbilt. There was this vibe about Vanderbilt where it was like, you cannot lose this game, Brian Kelly, or it changes how everyone views you as a coach. Even though losing to Kalen DeBoer's Alabama, this Alabama team who look like they're on their way to a fourth loss here, looking like shit against Auburn, is still disgusting the way we lost that game. But it's Alabama, maybe a little bit more understandable. But you can't, 4-5 Florida boggles the mind. Billy Napier's Florida boggles the mind. But still, what would be worse? Just like another level of worse where it's like LSU doesn't ever do that. Not even once. What are you doing, bro? That's Vanderbilt. Okay. That's a loss to Vanderbilt. That's a loss to um, Oklahoma, SEC debutantes in Tiger Stadium. The first time Oklahoma's ever played inside Tiger Stadium. They've played in the Superdome. We've played them in the Superdome where we kicked their ass in a national championship game. Okay. But they've only played once inside the state of Louisiana against LSU. It was not in Tiger Stadium. They do not understand what this environment is about. It is tonight where our fan base shows the Sooners exactly what this environment is about. Finish this season with some goddamn pride. Put the boot in that Oklahoma Sooner ass and beat this team down. You know, there hasn't been much to celebrate this season. I understand. There hasn't been much to be proud about. We kick Oklahoma ass. That is what LSU does. We've beaten them in a national championship game. We absolutely dominated them in that game. If we didn't have an offense that fumbled the ball multiple times in that game, we would have won that game like 44-0. Instead, we win it 21-14. Okay, whatever. But it feels like we won that game like 44-20. You know, basically, like really, it didn't even feel like they scored a point in that game. Our defense was so just suffocating. But Matt Mock and the offense, as good as they were, Justin Vincent running the ball, they coughed the ball over a few times to Oklahoma, but they barely did anything with it. But then, of course, the Joe Burrow game, where Joe Burrow throws 7 touchdown passes, most in the first half, I believe, and then runs for another. Just insanity. And LSU has a history of dominance over Oklahoma. Not just winning over Oklahoma, but absolute dominance. Absolute dominance, okay? So LSU going into this game, this isn't a moment of you know, what if this is the new rival? This is going to be our new rival for LSU. We got to be worried. This is our new Thanksgiving rival. They're going to beat us. Oh, no. Excuse me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. LSU does not lose games to Oklahoma. It just doesn't happen. And Brian Kelly has to understand that. Brian Kelly has to deliver victory. I think he will, that we have predicted. A 27-13 win for LSU. That was our prediction on the Friday show. Yesterday's show, 27-13 LSU. See, here's some highlights of LSU dominance over Oklahoma. And it doesn't take very much to look this up and find this, of just LSU eating Oklahoma's face. Oh, look, here's the one play they made all game. CeeDee Lamb over Jacoby Stevens. Jacoby Stevens with some actual damn good coverage. Okay, Oklahoma scored a touchdown in that game. I couldn't believe that. But here's where it just turns into overdrive for LSU. But Tigers in this game, I would love to see LSU control this game like they did against Vanderbilt. I would love to see LSU flip the script on that time of possession, where you're going to see, you know, ever since Oklahoma, you know, they had some close games. They had some games where it was like, wow, this team actually is staying in this thing. You know, they're actually in it against who there were some close games. There was a close game against Missouri recently for Oklahoma. Of course, we saw them completely manhandle and destroy Alabama. They get destroyed by Texas. They were close in it against Ole Miss. Okay, they were close in it against Missouri, another top 25 teams. They were close in it against Tennessee. All these losses were in the end by double-digit points, but the score doesn't really paint the picture that they were actually in those games. It was a turnover here, a turnover there. They were completely screwed because of those type of plays. I love how Stingley gets away with that pass interference. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I love it. I love it. But they get destroyed by Texas at one point, 34-3. But you know they've looked, their defensive front has looked awesome. They beat Auburn 27-21. That's a high quality win. They beat Tulane 34-19, which looks damn good. I bet Tulane could give LSU a hell of a game this year. So, you know, almost beat number 6 Tennessee, hang into it against number 16 Tennessee, get destroyed by number 1 Texas, hang into it against number 18 Ole Miss, hang into it against number 24 Missouri, and then destroy, absolutely throttle Alabama 24-3. What the hell does this tell us about what this game is going to provide, what Jackson Arnold is going to provide in this game for Oklahoma? It's anyone's guess. It really is, because this game could end up in a variety of fashions, a variety of scenarios. This, they've done really well at home. They've done well at home. They had that win at Jordan-Hare against Auburn. But that was almost like an Auburn choke job, Close loss against Tennessee at home as well. Other than that, the South Carolina game at home as well was another one where they got 9-35, got drubbed. But they were in that game, believe it or not, for a bit there. And then it kind of got away from them, of course. Not kind of, but definitely got away from them. Oklahoma have actually punched up for how flawed this roster is, how problematic this roster is for Brent Venables. First year in the SEC, they've done a lot better than I actually expected them to. A win over Alabama now in totality. The way they've competed in some of these games against top competition. Ole Miss barely got away with that game. I know the score flatters Ole Miss by 12, but really it was not as close. Football, how it can be. And that's my opinion more. I'm not afraid of Oklahoma, though. I don't think this is a dangerous team that should beat LSU. I believe this is a team LSU should handle in this game. I really do. I really do believe that. This is a game where LSU should go in there and absolutely dictate terms tonight against this Oklahoma team. There is no other way this game should go. No other way this game should go. And here's why. It's not because of just LSU pride, and I can't admit LSU might not be as good of a team as I think they are, by yada yada. LSU have more talent, player to player, mano a mano, than Oklahoma do. And if LSU do not, and they're exposed in this game by Oklahoma, and Oklahoma come out and say, beat the hell out of LSU, that is one hell of an indictment of this group of players, this kind of 2021, 2022 class cycle of guys who are now veterans, and it would be a major indictment of some of those guys, a lot of those guys, for them to come out tonight and let LSU get beaten at home. First time in program history, Oklahoma are in Tiger Stadium. First time ever. You let that happen. That would be bizarre. That'd be bizarre. I don't expect LSU to be dominant tonight, but you've got to get this victory. Brandon Lewis says, we destroy Oklahoma. I hope, man. Jamer says, we have to get it done early on. Here's the thing, Jamer. When LSU start games fast, when LSU start games in a rhythm, they usually don't stop. Maybe they fade in the end because this team just is not perfect yet. They don't have a killer instinct where they just keep going and going. You have to have kind of an extra stamina to be like, I want more touchdowns. I want more, big plays. I want more. I want more. I want more. So a lot of guys, they're just like kind of like, okay, I got a touchdown. I'm good. Like I made a big play. I'm going to be talked about. I'm good. I've got more. I've got it. You've got to be able to be like a Jamar Chase, a Joe Burrow, a Justin Jefferson, and just go out there and just get more and more and more. Just I want to set records like a Malik Neighbors, and Jaden Daniels going out there and getting 8 touchdowns against Georgia. Like, that's what LSU needs. And that's what LSU, I think, is about to go try and grab through the portal and try and recruit like crazy here to try and change this culture of the program one more time under Kelly, where it's like, okay, we've got everyone a graduate champions type of thing. We've got everybody kind of going to class and all that now. We kind of ended the whole frat boy, domestic violence rape club thing that was going on under Coach O, or Les Miles, more like it. The whole cover up thing and all that stuff. Allegedly, all of this stuff, alleged stuff. We have no clue exactly what happened, although LSU did settle for around $1.9 million with the victims of these allegations in April of this year, 2024. So LSU did pay up for something. So it's obvious that LSU maybe didn't know what was going on, but got caught up in this thing, and now it looks like a cover-up, and so now LSU have to pay to make it right, but maybe LSU wasn't completely guilty, but they had some really bad people who were in there who let things get out of control. Brian Kelly comes in, rids LSU of those people, cleans house. Maybe he fires some of the wrong people. Maybe he doesn't retain some of the right coaches. Gets rid of some people for the right reasons, some for the wrong reasons. Brings in people for absolute worst reasons, like Brian Polian. And for 2 years, LSU are in kind of a wilderness where Jaden Daniels, this offense at LSU was absolutely a juggernaut in 2023. Could have been and probably should have been in 2022 when you're talking about you had Malik, you had Brian, and then you had Kayshon Boutte, and then you had Jack Besh, who's a Biletnikoff semifinalist and went for over 1,000 yards as well. So you had 3 1,000-yard receivers on your team. And then Kayshon Boutte, who never went over 1,000 yards but was close, got injured in that second year and would have, but had 9 touchdowns in 6 games, but then got hurt, out for the season. But had single game all time receiving record in SEC history with 308 yards against Ole Miss. But I digress. You had so much talent on that receiving core in 2022, and Mason Taylor. You could not make it work. It just shows that Jaden Daniels wasn't as good of a passer of the football in 2022 as some revisionist people like to pretend. Jaden Daniels had to learn. He had to grow. He had to advance. He had to evolve. And he did from year 1 to year 2 big time. And everyone saw it. He made those leaps. He made Heisman leaps. We saw Joe Burrow do the same thing, although Joe Burrow was a little bit more polished and heading in that direction as far as a passer. You could see it at the end of the season. You could see it in games against UCF, against Arkansas, against Ole Miss. You could see it in these games. It was building after the blowout loss against Alabama. You could see Joe and the pick 6 that cost us the Florida game. You could see Joe coming into his own, okay, especially against UCF. And we had so many weapons in 2022. You had so many guys. You had Malik. You had Brian. You had Jack Besh. You had Kayshon Boutte. You had Mason Taylor. You could not get an offense to really be more than a conservative, just quarterback rushing attack that really had nothing going through the air. Like, it was abysmal. You had Kyron Lacy as well, who leads the SEC in receiving touchdowns among your group. So it's insane that happened at LSU. That in 2022 we had all those guys and nothing came of it. Unbelievable. 2023, you turn the page. Brian Kelly, all he had to do was go up to that booth and tell Matt House, you change something here. You put Whit Weeks in the game finally. You put Ovia Gofu on the bench, and you finally bring in Braden Swinson, and maybe LSU win another game. And then you're in the college football playoff. It's you never know what could have happened if LSU could have just won two more games last year. Jaden Daniels and that offense going into the playoffs with an LSU defense that can at least just give him a few extra possessions. LSU are probably winning the title in that weak year last year. Instead, he doesn't change anything. He lets Matt House do the same shit over and over and over. You could also say the Mekhi Wingo injury midseason hurt the team as well, because he wasn't there for the Alabama games, stuff like that. Huge games he was out for. Mason Smith wasn't at his best. He was just coming back from injury. So building into 2024, Brian Kelly had to, change that culture, make sure that culture was solidified. Now, now the veterans are going to take over this season. We've changed the culture in 2022, 2023. We had to really make sure these guys towed the line, maybe at the sacrifice of winning some games, maybe at the sacrifice of having certain guys on the team, maybe at the sacrifice of a lot of different things. Okay. And I'm glad Kelly did that, but then you go into 2024 and you're expecting these guys now will kind of police themselves. These guys now will kind of take that next step. A Kyron Lacy, yeah, you're leading the SEC in receiving touchdowns. That's great. But outside of Ole Miss, what other game did you win for LSU this year? I can't think of another one. He put up some stats. But when LSU needed big plays, Kyron Lacy was not the one making those plays. It was through the air. It was Aaron Anderson. It was Mason Taylor. Those are the two making the big plays through the air for LSU when LSU had to have it this season. That's just an indisputable fact. And I feel like Kyron Lacy has had a big season where he's made some great plays. But he has some big deficiencies that have let us down as well. You look across the board, Chris Hilton Jr., this was supposed to be his season where he's injury-free. He's going to come into the year and dominate, and then he gets hurt in the last week of fall camp. And it seemed like it was not going to be much of an injury. We were kind of told it was one thing, and it was surely another. And what do we see? We see Chris Hilton Jr. not even play until, 9 games into the season. Really, he already has a red shirt available to him, but it's like, don't even let him burn out this year of eligibility either. He's going to need it. Like, it's crazy to me how many injuries he's had. This kid just needs to be able to play a full season without getting hurt like he did last year. Last year was the first year in his entire career he had been able to play a full season without getting hurt. And he had some bad moments. He had some moments where he looked okay. He had some moments where he delivered. He had some moments where he fell short big time. The Hail Mary at the end of the Ole Miss game. You've got to bring that thing in. Some of these plays where he's jumping for the ball instead of just running underneath it, using his track speed, catching it, and then taking it to the house. Like, he's lost a step of that speed. I think that is what's going on, and he doesn't have the confidence of that speed anymore. Chris Hilton Jr. is another guy you were looking to really take that next step. It wasn't there for you at all. It wasn't there for him at all. I feel bad for Chris Hilton Jr. that it wasn't there, that he got hurt again. It's something that's out of his control, but there's other things that he can control that he must work on. And one of those is looking like he gives a shit. Because there's times it looks like Chris doesn't care. And I'm sure he does. Because I talked to him, I've talked to his family. I know they care. I know that family gives a damn. There's times though his body language is really poor. There's the whole thing with him and Kelly, they've got some things to work out. You look across the board here. CJ Daniels coming back. I'm excited about him coming back. That's a guy that LSU should have seen become that next number one receiver for LSU. But I think you saw Kyron Lacey getting all the targets. And I think that took away some big play potential. And a lot of the routes they were running with CJ Daniels were these little bubble screen or in and outs or little out routes where he's going way to the boundary and making these difficult NFL catches and getting like 3 yards and then pummeled out of bounds. Like, what the hell is that? Throw this kid a fucking slant over the middle, get him in space, get him, lead him into space. Just lead this kid into the promised land, baby. Let him get the football in his hands and make some moves, make some plays after the catch. We haven't seen him be able to do anything after the catch. It's not because CJ Daniels can't do anything after the catch, even while injured. We've seen him break tackles even while injured. It's because of the routes. It's because of the passing. He just hasn't been able to make it happen. And we've talked about Garrett Nussmeier being comfortable with CJ Daniels on the field, but they've really got to, Joe Sloan, he's really got to start dialing up some more open field, dynamic downfield, open space, yard after catch possible routes than just this, bullshit to the outside, to the boundaries. These passes way out, difficult, crazy passes, gonna be contested for just a couple of yards. It's bullshit. When you look at the 2019 LSU offense, you see a team that was just running and gunning it quickly, bulleting it. Bulleting the football very quickly to it'd be you'd have Joe Burrow very quickly just bullet that football right to Jamar Chase. Boom. Just snap it quick, boom. It's not even really a route. Just a boom. And I guess you could call it a screen or whatever, but he's literally just catching it, and then there's a pulling guard or something out there in front, a few guys coming out there to block. Like, you just got all these plays set up to get guys the football as quickly and as no fuss as possible. And I just feel like some of this stuff, we're overthinking it on offense. You've got all these weapons and all these guys, and you're expecting so many of these guys to step up and so many of these guys to deliver this year. At least take us to, a number 11, number 12. At least get us on the cusp of a college football playoff. And LSU this season, we're nowhere near. And lost 3 straight games by double plus digits. I mean, going into the Florida game, this team still had a chance. And we're probably going to find out tonight when Alabama lose again that LSU, it's even more agonizing than we could have imagined. Alabama are up 14-3 over Auburn. Okay. Well, fuck you, Alabama. Did you guys see what happened with the Michigan game? This was insane. Okay, we got to show this. Michigan planted their flag on the Ohio State horseshoe, okay? And this thing got into a brawl where you got security, cops spraying mace to get players away from each other. This thing got nuts. Watch this shit. Look at this. You knew it was on. They were like, we just lost. We just got our asses beat in front of our home crowd on senior day. How pissed off are those seniors? And then they know you're planting your flag on our field. No way. We're going to at least be able to do something about this. We couldn't control how terrible we played for the fourth straight loss against Michigan. We're Ohio State. We don't play anybody. And then you finally have to play someone, and it's 7-5 Michigan, 6-5 Michigan before this game. And you still get embarrassed by these guys. And all you can do is go and start a brawl and get maced by some cops after they go and plant their flag up your ass. That is beautiful if you do not like Ohio State. I hate Ohio State. So this is just beautiful, rough justice. I hate Michigan too. So, Michigan's had their horrible season. They've felt their own pain. Speaking of Michigan and all this bullshit recruiting and all this stuff, Ohio State as well. Jakeem Stewart, will he not visit for the LSU Oklahoma game? I heard that he was going to. You guys all probably heard that he was going to. And then Shea Dixon, I just heard on the LSU official pregame on Eagle 104 or Eagle 98, where he said that Jakeem Stewart is at home today, and it doesn't look like he's going to show up. So it doesn't look like Jakeem is going to show up for this game, although it's great that he didn't visit for Ohio State, Michigan. Sure, that's great. But, he just barely was at LSU in Baton Rouge for LSU getting their shit shoved in by Alabama. So it's hard to know where Jakeem Stewart is on this whole thing, and so I'm just apathetic about his entire recruitment. As we wrote in our last Jakeem Stewart update, we just said, you know what? Probably going to go to USC or Ohio State, one of them, one of the two. And I was like, I kind of don't care which one, because and at the same time, you can never count Frank Wilson out, ever. You can never count him completely out, because he recruits his ass off. And it sucks that he has so much on-field responsibility that he can't go and literally physically go to Jakeem's house and get his ass up and get him to the stadium. But you know what? If Jakeem Stewart, Louisiana guy, is that intent on not being a Tiger, you have to pay me $3 million, all this stuff, $5 million, whatever, all that crazy. Okay, fine. I think LSU at this point need to cut their losses and focus their resources elsewhere. There is a myriad of fantastic sophomore, junior year D linemen in the transfer portal that LSU have to go get for this next season. And those are the guys you need to spend the money on. Okay. Jakeem Stewart is a fantastic kid. He's a fantastic talent. But at this point, LSU really need to make sure that every dollar counts. And you can't be throwing this money away on kids who you're going to have to worry about year in, year out if they're invested, if they're willing to continue to be a Tiger, if they're going to go somewhere else every single offseason. I get it. You have to retain your roster anyway. I understand that. But there are some guys you simply do not have to worry about. You just raise their pay. You know what I'm saying? LSU always are going to have those type of guys. But you've really got to make sure that the future is built more on guys like that rather than guys like Jakeem Stewart, because this guy wants to be more of a celebrity. He wants to be a star. Most of these meetings are with Marvel and things like that rather than football, oriented. I think that's rather telling about where this is going. Jakeem Stewart's only played 10 games of high school football. He wouldn't be able to be an impact for LSU for another 2 years anyway. I think at this point, if you get Jakeem Stewart, you consider it a Frank Wilson masterclass. You hope they're not breaking the bank to make it happen. You see what they do in the portal to supplement the D-line as well in that direction. Dominic McKinley's there, Ahmad Bro. You've got some pieces to work with. But you're losing some guys. Jacoby Guillory's coming back. But you're losing some guys as well. Gio Paez, JVR Suggs, you're losing as well. It's just it's a very thin group that you still have to continue to pack. And so LSU is going to go hard for some DTs in this portal. At least 2. And I think you'd be safe to expect like DJ Hicks to be one of those guys. There's going to be some other names who are going to be popping up after this last regular season game ends. And you're going to start hearing that news very quickly. It's going to be a very busy, busy month, as this month always is for LSU Odyssey. December, January, always crazy for LSU Odyssey. And you're going to see that hopefully this season more than any, as there's some massive changes set to be happening here at LSU. Derek Wright says, LSU going to get their shit pushed in. We going to run it right down your throat. Ooh, some shit talk from Derek Wright saying LSU going to get their shit pushed in. We going to run it right down your throat. Ooh, shit. Here's the thing. If Oklahoma can run the football, and then LSU, who really suck at running the football usually, and even when they do it their best this season, it's only for like 135 yards or something. Like, if LSU cannot stop you guys running the football and you're controlling the tempo, pushing us around in the trenches, and then we cannot help Garrett Nussmeier with any semblance of a running game, we could very well lose this game. We could. Just off of that simple, tried and true, tested factor from season to season to season in college football. No matter how modernized the game has become, if you cannot run the football, you will not win games. You can survive here, you can survive there, you can get through the first round, maybe the second round. It's going to catch up to you in that third round or the championship game. You're going to lose, and you can't get through without running the football, at least making the defense consider running the football. It completely changes how a defense can play against you. When a defense knows that you have such a weakness over here to run the football, they can cheat, basically, positionally. And it makes things like blitzing, getting the quarterback, that much easier. Because you don't really have to worry, even if you miss it and make a huge bust on the play, rushing in on Nussmeier, and he's able to get rid of it to Josh Williams or even Caden Durham or Caleb Jackson, they're going to get smashed after only a couple yards. So if LSU cannot run the football and Jackson Arnold is getting in a rhythm running the football himself, LSU could lose this game. I predicted 27-13, though. I think LSU are going to make plays in the passing game that it's going to set it up for the running game. And then the holes will be there. And I think they're going to get Caleb Jackson the football for the first time all season. For certain reasons, obviously, they're going to get him the football. I think you're going to see what he can do for the first time all year, basically. In these purple jerseys against Oklahoma in the white, it's going to look so strange, guys. It's going to look so bizarre. And we're really close to kickoff now. We're really close to kickoff. First time Oklahoma in the stadium against LSU. There's King Josh. This is from LSU football's Twitter account. 6 years for Josh. Started as a walk-on and wrapping up his career as a national champion, LSU graduate, and now number 18. It's just beautiful. What a hell of a career. I love Josh Williams. It's going to suck to see him go. Like, what's incredible for Josh Williams is he has seen the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows. He's seen everything in between. He didn't play in the 2019 season. He was a walk-on, redshirt freshman, but he was there for everything. He was there for every moment, got a ring. He was a part of it all. And rode some of the problems of the pandemic, some of the issues of the pandemic with roster management and guys leaving, opt-outs, the NFL draft, of course, but injuries, all sorts of things, ineligibility, all sorts of things were affecting LSU running back. Josh Williams came in and was dominant and then was awarded a scholarship by Coach Ed Orgeron. And you see him go from walk-on to starter in the SEC and has had an incredible career at LSU. Let's look up let's look up his stats, because he's had quite a lot of touchdowns, if I correct. 16 rushing touchdowns. He had 6 in 2022, 5 in 2023, 2024 he's had 5, and then he has 1 receiving touchdown, which was last year. So last year he had 6 total touchdowns. 6 total touchdowns is his career high. Let's hope tonight he gets 7 to get more than his career total. And let's hope he gets over like at least 130 yards tonight rushing the football so he can get his career high rushing total. But he definitely has his career high in receiving this season. It was incredible catching the football out of the backfield. Josh Williams, what a career. You know, I looked at something that I want to tell you guys about. You know, Savion Jones, the defensive lineman who LSU are probably going to miss pretty big time next season. And I think Savion Jones also really could have used another season. But this is his last season of eligibility. You look at the season he lost his first eligibility, the season he should have, his redshirt freshman year. His freshman year in 2021 should have been a redshirt freshman year. Okay? I don't know what the hell they were thinking. He played in 58 total snaps all season in 2021, okay? But for some dumb reason, he played in 11 games. That's just terrible roster management. You could have had a dude who was willing ready and wanting to be retained by LSU, Savion Jones, a dude who really wanted another year at LSU to like solidify his draft stock. And he doesn't have it because Coach O stupidly played this guy in way too many games. Like, I cannot believe that decision. He only played 58 snaps all throughout 2021, but you played him across 11 games and he burned his red shirt. Just because you gamble, oh, he's not even going to need this. He's going to be so good, he'll be out of here by year 3. I don't care. He wasn't going to play a part that year or a major role. Keep his eligibility for that year. You never know what could happen. You do right by this kid. You did not do right by Savion Jones. 58 snaps in 2021, but he played in 11 games. What the hell is that? And you lose him for next year now because of that type of a decision by Coach Ed Orgeron. Stupid fucking move. Jackson Ola says, that would suck if we didn't get Stewart. He's an alien, man. Could use the help on the D-line. You know, I'm not going to say Jakeem Stewart isn't good. I'm not going to say Jakeem Stewart isn't a freak. I'm not going to say Jakeem Stewart couldn't be an absolute great one. He could. He could be all those. But LSU, more than ever, need guys who are ready to win right now to lift up the talent we already have on this roster. That we already have a bunch of young talents on this team. We already have a bunch of young guys on this team who are, you know, the next thing to come around the bend. We're already paying a lot for a Deshaun Womack. You know, are we going to lose? Are we going to let that guy go walk out the door when it's like, no, let's go pay 3.5 for Jakeem Stewart to learn how to play DE in a few years? How about you just don't alienate and push out Deshaun Womack and we'll be good, you know? Like, but here we are, wearing purple, about to play Oklahoma. And I have, you know what? I have no problem with it, with the purple. Who cares? The seniors chose it. Fine, whatever. Josh Williams chose it. It's a royal color. Fine. But you better beat Oklahoma. That's all that matters. You're going to wear purple? Okay. Okay, fine. You better kick Oklahoma's ass. Okay? Paul Tarver says, I want to see more flying to the ball and gang tackling tonight. Wrap up Arnold's design quarterback runs. They're going to run him the football, man. Like you said, we have to be there. It's not just one guy. Hey, Weeks needs to be there. He's the middle linebacker. I want to see Greg Penn. They're not. Hey, it's on all of them. We got to have great games from Keys. We got to have a great game from Penn the third. We got to have a great game from Weeks. All three at the linebacker position. They're going to start tonight. All three of those guys, because those are the defenses we're facing. We're going to need that 4-3, that 4-3 front. I mean, sorry, this is the offenses this defense is facing now. Get rid of the star position. What's his name? Could not handle it. Major Burns. 10th in the SEC. Jackson Arnold is 10th in the SEC in rushing attempts. He has 133 rushing attempts this season. 133 rushing attempts this season. How many did Josh Williams just have this year? Josh Williams has never had over Josh Williams has never had 100 rushing attempts in a season. Josh Williams has never had 100 rushing attempts in a single season at LSU in any of these 5 seasons where he's played, okay? Jackson Arnold has 133, only 2.8 yards per rush, okay? 3 rushing touchdowns, only at 41 rushing yards per game. I understand that he had a great game against Alabama. But it's really not even like, hey, he's going to go and he's going to burn you. It's really about like just grinding teams down running the football. They don't even care if they get 2.5 yards per carry. They're just going to keep running it. But look at that. Look at that right there. Okay. His season high rushing was 131 against Alabama, 25 carries. After that, he has the 97-yard game against Tulane, basically a 100-yard game there. Outside of those 2 games, if you prevent what happened against Tulane and what happened against Alabama, if you do not let that happen to LSU, which I am absolutely not too confident of, and you keep him to this middle stuff where 17 for 45 against Missouri, 9 for 45 even, I would accept, even though it's still very effective looking with 1 touchdown and 5.5 yards per carry. And the 9 rushes tells you that someone else was running the football really well against the other team if he was not getting the football. 24 rushes for 39 yards against Ole Miss for 1.6 per carry. That is what you want to see tonight. You want to see them waste play after play after play, giving this kid the football to try and control it, but only to run out the clock on themselves, half the game and half on themselves, while just basically wasting a shit ton of possessions and wearing out themselves. 17 carries for negative 29 yards. What a beautiful stat. 5 for negative 21 yards against Tennessee. 11 rushes for 28. 11 rushes for 34. They are going to give this kid the football play after play after play after play after play. It doesn't matter how many times you stop him. It is up to us to stay alert. It is up to LSU's secondary to really make damn sure they back up their linebackers. They let their linebackers play aggressively, and if their linebacker misses on a play, they've got to be there. They have got to be there to back them up, make the play, clean it up, get the guy to the ground. I want to see 3 guys to Jackson Arnold. Just like you said. It can't if you just have 1 or 2 going to Jackson Arnold, you're not going to get him to the ground. He's not fast, but he is physical. He will smack the shit out of you, and he will pound you into the ground. And that is exactly what this defense has proven they can't handle. And it's not that this defense is necessarily soft like 2023's defense. It's just that this defense isn't as physical. They're just not physical. Fit with Fry says, we blowing LSU out just like we did Bama. Whew. Hey, fit with Fry, you better come here after the game if you lose. Win or lose, if you come here after the game, after you've won, that's fine, and you can gloat all you want. But if you don't come here after the game and you've lost, to at least take an ass whooping from us, that's bullshit. So you can talk your smack all you want. That's fine. I love it. But please, you've got to appear if you guys don't go hiding away if you guys get your asses kicked yourselves. Cornelius Dansby Jr. says, Boomer Sooner. We owe LSU from a few years ago. Heard them Tigers don't like teams in crimson. Oklahoma fans have no room to talk at all. And this is astounding that Oklahoma fans can talk when the greatest achievement Oklahoma has ever done is lose title games, it seems. Lose national title games. I mean, you lost a title game to Florida. You lost a title game to who else did you lose title game to? To USC. You lost the title game to oh yeah. Oh yeah. Who was that team? Oh, oh, oh my gosh. Oh, I remember who that team was. Oh, for a second, it escaped me. I was thinking, they lost to Tim Tebow's Florida. They lost to USC, another big, huge blowout. Who else did they lose to? I'm trying to think. It's really escaping me. I'm not sure. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, here's the footage. What is this? What is this? Nick Saban? Nick Saban, an LSU coach. What is going? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, LSU beat the shit out of Oklahoma in a championship game. LSU beat the shit out of Oklahoma in a college football playoff semifinal, 60-something to 20, when LSU pulled their foot off the gas at the start of the second half. LSU literally could have scored over 100 points on Oklahoma that night, and you know it. So what type of how is this fit with Fry or Cornelius Dansby even in here talking smack? How can they do this? How can they even come in here with this type of elevated heat when, I mean, look at that, baby. Just nothing but LSU beating some Oklahoma ass. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the pride. Do we have to do this? I think we have to. And I hope LSU continue in this vein tonight, because if they don't, there's just no point. Because this stuff is in the past, and it's great to shove it in your face that we destroyed you guys. Jefferson, 4 touchdowns in one half, all this stuff. Chase on terrorizing Jalen Hurts. You guys, we could have put up 100 on you in this game, and we told you we were going to do it, and then backed it up, which is even the coolest thing. But LSU, man, we've got to finish this thing tonight. Finish this season right. You cannot lose to Oklahoma. You cannot let an Oklahoma team come into your house for the first time and beat you. Can't happen. Can't happen. It cannot be allowed, cannot be accepted, cannot be tolerated. And if Brian Kelly allows that to happen, it would be worse than losing to Vanderbilt this season, in my opinion. Because LSU simply does not lose to Oklahoma. LSU has Oklahoma's absolute number. We have you guys by the nuts. The nuts are in a vice grip, and we're just kind of, that thing where it's going like the crunch, the nutcracker. That is what LSU has done to Oklahoma. We haven't played you guys many times, but it's always been on the biggest stage possible. And what has LSU done in these games? Dominate. Savagely dominate and humiliate and bring Oklahoma to their knees. That was too easy to Terrace Marshall. Too easy. Too easy. Cornelius Dansby Jr. says, by the way, Nick Saban won 1 championship with LSU, then left for Bama faster than Lincoln Riley left Okie. Well, brother, if you knew the real reasons why Nick Saban actually left Baton Rouge, it wouldn't be like LSU, have something to be ashamed about. I think you'd be like, oh, well, wow, LSU would have been able to keep him, but because of this thing that just could not be, avoided. He's left, Garrett Dellinger is out for this game. He is out for this game. Garrett Dellinger officially is out for this game, according to the LSU injury report. We just got it now. That's the thing. Garrett Dellinger is a senior. He's class of 2021 guy, right? How much eligibility does Dellinger have? He's a senior. How much did he play that first year? 2021, 20. Oh, crap. Okay. He is done. Shit. He played 7 games this season. Oh, man. 3 like really worthless games over the limit. He basically played in like nickels and all these games. Dellinger could have come back next year. Oh, man. That one hurts. That one hurts. Cornelius Dansby says, good luck, bro. It's all love. Yes, man. Hey, good luck to you as well. Hopefully it's a damn good game. I don't want to see a slop bath. I don't want to see a blood, just putrid mess. I don't want to see just a fart fest, a poo nickel. I want to see a blood-humping death march. I want to see an absolute festival of SEC violence. Welcome to the SEC, punks. Let's get it on. Like, I want to see this be some real rock and roll. You know, you go to a rock and roll concert and you don't want to hear, you know, St. Vincent or Haim or, you know, late 80s era Fleetwood Mac. You go to a rock concert hearing the Rolling Stones or Cream in 68 or King Gizzard or fucking early REM or My Morning Jacket or you know, Flaming Lips or the Grateful Dead or 70s era Aerosmith or Rush, you know. You know, I get the Who, something primal, something untamed, unchained, to quote Van Halen. You want to unleash the fury, and that is what LSU football is about: unleashing the fury. If LSU does not unleash the fury tonight, I will be very disappointed, because this is a group of seniors, of juniors even, that have a chance to be going out, a group of players that are possibly playing their final game in their Tiger career, and it could be either a chance to save some face, the group that couldn't quite reach that elevated level of the groups before them, or it could be a chance for it to be another indictment of this group, of what an indictment of what this group could have been. A bunch of 5 stars who never lived up to it, a bunch of 4 stars who didn't live up to it, a bunch of guys who we kept faith in for year after year after year, but never really made it count. There's some of these guys I think that you'll never know the real story on, in the public eye. You'll never really see their side of it, and it's a shame, because some of these guys, I think, really got screwed here by the situation. You look at Savion Jones. He at least deserves another year to come back with Bo Davis, Kevin Peoples. He played 58 snaps in 11 games as a freshman. Coach O burned his red shirt in that season for no reason. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's a great point, Jamer. Saban did not leave LSU for Alabama. He left for Miami, for the Miami Dolphins. That's a good point. And then he went back to college for Alabama. That's a great point. Paul Tarver says, you're right, Lon. Jackson Arnold is a slower version of South Carolina quarterback Lenore Sellers. but has strong leg drive. He's a physical runner, and that's what I'm worried about. If LSU should be able to handle the speed here tonight. So there's no excuse. Get this motherfucker to the ground. A couple of you at once. Excuse my language, but I'm kind of feeling passionate here. This is Oklahoma. I hate Oklahoma so much. I hate this blue blood bullshit, this team. I cannot stand them. If LSU lose to this team, the first time this team is in Tiger Stadium, I think I'll puke. I think I'll puke. My prediction is 27. LSU grinded out 27-13. The game's about to start in under an hour now. Under an hour. We will leave you now, guys. Enjoy the game. We will pop up many times at different moments. Keep it glued to LSUODYSSEY.com. Follow our live tweets during the game at Lon Phillips on Twitter. Follow it. It is a must follow. See what we do every single weekend, every single game day, game night. It is nuts. Fit with Fry says, better start puking, big dog. See, this is why LSU has to beat Oklahoma. These guys are such heavy shit talkers because they just beat Alabama. They feel like they're high on like nitrous oxide, like they're in the backstage area with the Grateful Dead in the Fillmore East 1970. I mean, who the fuck do they think they are? They think they can literally talk to LSU like this after what Joe Burrow did to them, after what Justin Vincent did to them, after what LaRon Landry did to them, and what Justin Jefferson did to them. Fuck these chimp motherfuckers. LSU better beat them 27-13 at least, but hopefully Garrett Nussmeier goes off. I have faith in Nuss tonight. I think he's going to spin the ball big time. Everybody, you have a good rest of your night. And LSU is about to start in about an hour here. So take it easy. Keep it glued to LSUOdyssey.com because we will be going live second the game ends. Article as well tonight. Last regular season game of the season. Sage has joined us. Everybody, take it easy.